Imagine
A podcast.
where time drifts slowly,
A podcast.
where
Isaac.
carries you away.
So let me be clear. We tortured some folks.
Hello again, loyal subscribers. This is an early access episode for those of you who are paying, so thank you again. On today's episode, I'm joined by Herman Melville, aka Northwest MCM Wholesale. He's come on the show again, and we're talking about meme coins, Shrimp Jesus, All Eyes on Rafah, and unfortunately, we do a little bit of Trump. And they indicted me. Was that terrible? And they indicted me. That's my favorite Trump thing.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
So yeah, if you pay for the show, you also get some terrible impressions I'll give you. If you don't want to listen to the Trump shit, just skip like 10, 15 minutes in. All right, enough yakking. Let's get to the show.
I think the key to me being the person that I am is that I have a weird libtard mom and an angry-ish former drill sergeant right-wing dad. And so those two, that combination of the two has created this friction inside me that I guess keeps me motivated, keeps me pushing forward.
Contradiction is the essence of being human, and so I think that, you know, if you grew up in that contradiction, being pulled in both ways simultaneously, I think it better prepares you for
It's the balance,
how contradictory the world is. Yeah,
the
balance,
yin and the yang of the content that you posted today. Yeah.
We're gonna get into that. This is, I mean, you and I had not planned on doing a show about Donald Trump's 34 count conviction. I wasn't even paying attention. I didn't even know that was happening until I was actually at the gym, and I'm walking by between the TVs that always have, you know, CNN and Fox on, and there were competent bicycles, and this handsome bald black man is like raising his arms and like pumping. He's like pumping up and down. And I'm like, is he okay? Like, is he having some sort of fit? And then I looked at the TV and it said Trump guilty on all 34 counts. And he was fucking psyched. He was happy.
I knew it was happening just because I've been spending so much time on Twitter lately. So, but I honestly don't really care about Donald Trump. I think he's a vessel through which these other parties are conducting a war. I don't think he's special. I don't think he's very interesting. I don't think he's very powerful or scary. I think he's just stupid, and I'm tired of looking at him or thinking about him. I mean, I just in the 80s he was a hero of the age, and then in the early 90s he was like a tabloid joke. Then they reinvent him as a reality star, and you're fired and all that crap. And then it was almost like a couple weeks later he's Adolf Hitler. He's the worst thing that's ever happened to America. And I just think he's like a media creation, you know? I don't think he's even a real guy. The media has a new thing for him to do, and he's always happy to like step into whatever role they need him to be, you know? He's a narcissist, he's an egomaniac, he's a greedy piece of shit. He's all these things, which to me, I just when I look at him, I just think, well, of course he's going to be on TV and on the computer, so everyone's social media. He's like the most arch American of all time. You know what I mean? And the people that hate him, they kind of act like him. The people that like him, they of course act like him. You know, I'm not saying I'm a fan of him, as I'm not, but there's some lessons to learn from Donald Trump, and nobody's learning the lessons from him, you know?
Well, not enough people are learning, that's for sure. I mean, having to point out to people that Trump has exposed the world for what it really is. And I'm embarrassed enough to say that I had previous liberal sensibilities. largely because I just didn't have to think about stuff. You know, I was so preoccupied with fucking basketball and sports for so long. Not that that doesn't intersect with politics, and it did, and I've always been like somewhat aware of things, but Trump really made me pay attention to politics in a whole new way. And so, and I think he's done that for a lot of people, but granted, people took it in the stupidest possible way. I mean, I see people who sincerely think that he's some sort of like white hat, you know, that he's actually going to make things better. I love the idea that he's somehow a peacenik, that he's anti-war, when it's like, you do know he launched a missile at Suleiman, right, and killed an Iranian general. And we're just lucky that Iran is a much more rational state actor than the United States is. But yeah, it is funny having to talk about it again, having to speculate it. I think having to post about it. You did joke about how it's like everyone else is excited or either miserable or elated, and people like you and me who are compelled to make jokes about these things are just like, fuck, like this totally throws a wrench in what I was going to work on before.
Yeah, completely. I mean, the one side, you know, Trump's playing 5D chess. The libs can't keep up. And the other side, you know, he's like the dumbest person that's ever lived. He has an IQ of 87. I think that the truth is that he's like the chessboard, and everybody else is sort of using him. We're all right or left. We're all playing fucking 0-dimensional chess. You know, I don't think he's much of anything. I have like almost at this point, I have no opinion about him at all.
We're playing, you know, like when you get good enough at, like as a kid, when you finally unlock tic-tac-toe and you like know how to never lose.
Yeah.
I think like that's politics today. It's just like this game, like a game that no one is really winning, or like the people who you think you're playing a game, but it's like no one's actually fucking getting all three in a row.
Do they even want to win? I don't think anyone even has
No.
any policy ideas, no vision for the world. It's just about dividing up, you know, it's just about dividing up like money, you know.
It's siphoning off money for sure. I mean, it's how can we take the infrastructure in this country that used to serve people and just siphon it off for our
donors.
benefit.
Yeah, I'm gonna give
for our
this
donors.
Is gonna go to it's almost like they divided it up like just perfectly. You know, you guys are over here, we're over here, and we're gonna play this football game with what's left of America and divide up the resources. You know.
Yeah, it's like they dangle fucking trans women in sports to get you like riled up and care about something, while they're fucking bilking you. You know, it that's the thing that's so frustrating to me is there is like legitimate criticism of like a trans man playing in like women's college sports or whatever.
You're gonna get canceled there, Isaac. You got to be careful.
I mean, I've yeah, probably, but at the same, I it's not to say that there isn't like we shouldn't have that conversation, but it's also just like not an actual problem in the world. It's like, who really fucking cares? Like, yeah, you could entertain it, but it's so niche. It's like, why is this the dominant cultural conversation? I think that the thing that makes me upset about this Donald Trump conviction is that, you know, I do have schadenfreude seeing, you know, those like MAGA idiots like either get really sad and cry or be like, war, this means war, when it's like, shut the fuck up. You know, you're a bitch, you're not gonna do shit. But then the libs who have been edging for 8 years for this, like they had the indictment which didn't add up to shit, and chances are this is not gonna do anything either.
Yeah.
But it seems like they finally got their nut, and they are coming everywhere. I mean, they are so fucking happy. They feel so vindicated. You know, these ghouls, like, I don't know if you saw the mug that Hillary Clinton is selling now.
I saw it. I didn't know that that was real. I thought that was fake. That's real.
I know, right? It's fucking real. So Hillary Clinton on her social media made what looks to be like it's a what do you call that, corporate Memphis
Yeah,
style.
corporate Memphis. Yeah.
And it's incredibly lazy. They didn't even bother like wrapping the image around the mug. They just pasted it on top of the mug, and it's like a silhouette of Hillary sipping tea on a coffee cup, very meta. And it says, "Turns out she was right about everything." Fucking Hillary Clinton, who lost the easy, like, who fucking bricked a layup 2016 election that she should have won.
Because we're going to have a lot of jobs from building infrastructure to coding, creating new apps. I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they feel comfortable coming out and being like, yeah, no, we were right. I was right. I don't want these people feeling vindicated. You know, it's almost like, I'm not going to vote for Trump. Not that it matters because I'm in Florida. But I almost want to like spite these people. Just be like, no, fuck you. You're not right. You're fucking dead ass wrong.
I mean, I don't even think they wanted Hillary to win. And by they, I mean the imaginary, liberal elites that swirl around in my brain. But the way Trump was just elevated from the get-go, the way he dominated the news cycle. I mean, when he announced his candidacy, it should have just been a punchline. I mean, what, like Ted Cruz and fucking Marco Rubio were the front runners, right?
It went from like, I mean, it went from like Jeb to fucking Carly Fiorina to Marco to Ted. You know, they were trying out every fucking hat.
It was like MSNBC and CNN that pushed Trump over the top, and it was just Trump 24/7. I mean, I don't, right or left. I think that one of the best moments in American politics was when Trump was on the stage, and this is like isn't the Fox News moderated debate? Like Fox News didn't even like him at first, They were pushing at him. They're like, you said the system's rigged. Like, why did you say that? Why are you using... I mean, he's like kind of using left-wing terminology, the system's rigged. They're out to get you. I mean, this is shit that like hippies used to say, And he's like, oh, I know it's rigged because I've donated money to all these people. When I need a favor,
right, yeah.
Favor, I just call them. Every person on this stage I've donated money to.
Nobody knows the system better than me. Which is why I alone can fix it.
And I think that's just an incredible moment, That's just mind-boggling,
I mean, I remember, watching these career establishment Republicans just eat shit.
This is a tough business to run for president.
I know, you're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is
real
principled.
tough.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the presidency.
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 3, so far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
This doesn't do a thing to solve the problem.
One at a time.
It doesn't do a thing to solve the problem.
Trump just shoveled shit down their throats, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with DeSantis here. Watching DeSantis just get fucking dogged by Trump. Like, and he's not even running at full speed at this point. Trump is a shell of himself. When you watch those 2016 debates, you see how much sharper he is and how significantly he has like melted. And so, it's remarkable that Biden is somehow more melted. That's our fucking choice. It's so great. I really feel insane, dude. This whole stuff makes me feel it's such a fucking joke. It's such a joke. And people were mad at me for when I posted that another Hillary Clinton fucking idiot post where she posts that graph that shows the like CO2 like reduction we need to keep the planet like livable, and then it shows like what it will look like with Trump and what it will look like with Biden, and it's just like slightly better but under Biden, and it's just still like so far away from the goal we need to live, and as though that's some kind of fucking something to be proud of. I mean, I don't know. I'm this is not what we're going to change the subject into this stuff that we're really going to talk about that I think is actually more interesting than just fucking stupid.
Yes, please. Yeah, there's plenty of people talking about Trump like every day, all day, ever, forever.
I know.
We don't need to add. We don't need to add to that.
Yeah, I'm sorry to have to contribute to it because we're gonna talk about some other very dumb shit, but maybe shit that isn't talked about as much. Let's start with why I wanted you to come on the show in the first place. By the way, hello, Herman. I'll do a more formal little intro like I usually
I'm
do.
sure everyone knows me that listens to your podcast now, right? Or does that sound arrogant?
I think I used to describe you as modest, but I'm striking that word from your descriptor now. Hello, Herman. Thanks for being back on the show. The first thing we're going to be mostly talking about the internet, as you and I usually do, because we spend way too much time on it.
Yes.
I stopped even bothering looking at my screen time because I just don't. I mean, every effort I've made to reduce it makes me feel bad about myself. So fuck it.
Yeah.
But you're in a corner of the internet right now. You're fucking with some stuff that I also ignored. It's kind of crypto adjacent stuff. You've been playing in the meme coin world. Herman, what the fuck is a meme coin?
I actually am not sure. So, well, it's like Inception. There's money, which is worth something only because we agree that it is. Then there's cryptocurrency, and you'll get just ripped to shreds for saying this, but cryptocurrency is only worth something because real money is worth something. That you could do 15 podcasts about crypto. Anyway, one layer below that are these meme tokens and things that you can buy like with your crypto. So, and they're always trying to figure out, in my opinion, they're trying to figure out what to even do with crypto. So they're coming up with all these different like utilities and like NFTs and all this weird shit. They're like, no, this is what you can buy with this stuff. And I think that I'm really out of my element here. I'm really like out of my depth. But basically, there's a cryptocurrency called Solana that people use to trade, in theory, memes. So you can buy a percentage of a meme coin, meme token, whatever. But really, it is just a giant casino. It's just a casino. And you use, Solana is what you use to participate in the casino. So, and when I say meme, we use that term loosely. I mean, there's things that are just not even memes. Like speaking of Trump, there's a meme coin that's just Trump wearing pit vipers, and the coin is called Moggled, like you got mogged by Trump. And
okay, go on.
Oh, it gets dumber than that. I mean, there's just all sorts of stuff. It is just the Wild West. So the reason we got into it is because my brother is a really market savvy guy, like financially savvy guy. He likes to he messes around in the markets. And so he was keeping an eye on this stuff. He's also a really extremely honest, like stand-up guy. So he was kind of fascinated by the millions that are being like won and lost and stolen. I mean, it's 99% of these meme coins are just scams. I can get into that in a second. So, my brother and I are very different, but probably best friends. And, it didn't take too much time to like, well, okay, so you're like, my brother's sort of traditionally smart and has a career and has done pretty well financially. I am, maybe if I am smart at all, it is in an unconventional way. So, it was like, well, you understand the markets, you understand memes. There's no reason why we shouldn't just get involved in this and see what happens. So my brother, my joke is, can you say the R word on here or not? My brother is autistic and I am the R word. So it seems like a good combination.
Uh-huh.
And we thought about it for about 3 seconds. We were like, well, we'll just pick a meme. Duh. I mean, most of these things are not even memes. We'll pick a meme that kind of dovetails with my account. My account's about furniture. Everyone's seen the cuck chair meme. So that was the meme coin that we launched. And the only rules with it's other people too. It's like 2 other friends of ours, and the only thing that we decided that we weren't going to do was rug pull people. Rug pull meaning you unveil a new cryptocurrency or a new, I guess, commodity to trade. The first thing you do is you go shore up all of the supply, right? We didn't do that. Like, even Bitcoin, I think 70% of the Bitcoin, didn't the original founder sort of have it squirreled away and nobody knew where it was?
The original founder, Satoshi Nakamoto?
Yeah.
You mean like the guy who doesn't exist, who's most likely the CIA?
Is that what it is?
There are some pretty convincing theories that Bitcoin is just some fucking CIA scam. Yeah.
Interesting. I haven't heard those. I mean, I've heard a lot of theories on him. But yeah, so the typical meme coin goes like this. And there's all these like crazy influencers. There's all these, I mean, it's all just a giant scam. You have to pay these influencers to post about your thing. You launch a token. You create a Twitter and a Telegram. You pay all these like crooked motherfuckers to promote it. You secretly shore up the supply. It starts to trend on Twitter. Then you start selling against the upward momentum, and you make tens, hundreds, thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. That's typically how all of them go. I mean, there are some where there's all this hype, all these, I don't even know who these guys are, young Zoomers that want generational wealth in 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We'll kind of buy in. I think everybody also kind of knows that it's a casino and most likely a scam, that they're just trying to jump in and jump out before the rug gets pulled, before the development team like basically sells everything and the coin goes to dust, goes to zero.
So meme coins were a little more nakedly like, this is a scam, get in, get out, and like see which suckers you can rope in, because I didn't see any. No one told me the purpose of meme coins. At least, initially with cryptocurrency, there was like, this is the new way you're gonna like spend money. And I remember this one guy, it must have been 2018. It was my friend Wei. It was her boyfriend Gary, and he was really early on the crypto stuff. Was already like in the millions in terms of profit. And I remember he pitched getting into crypto to me, saying that soon, very soon, you're going to go to a coffee shop and you're going to order a coffee and you're going to give them like a $5 bill and they're going to say, sorry, we don't accept that. Like, he's like, the fiat currency is going down. You'll only be able to buy your fucking espresso in crypto. And I was thinking, if like fiat currency collapses, I don't think I'm going to be going to a fucking coffee shop. Like, I just don't think that's not what I'm really going to be spending my time dealing with when the US dollar collapses.
Yeah.
But it was like this apocalyptic kind of like, it was religious, I think, in its nature, because it was promising this sort of financial rapture, and only the true believers will be brought into this economic heaven.
Well, there is an element of truth to that. You could actually destroy the financialization of the world using cryptocurrency. You really could. You
could, unless the theory that our intelligence agencies are the ones who created this thing in the first place as some sort of like fake.
Well, maybe, but other people have created cryptocurrencies. I mean, you and I could create a cryptocurrency.
Right.
The matter is just convincing everyone in the world to use it. So in some ways, it's no different than any other business. You have an advertising and awareness, a brand awareness problem. But
then when you actually, I mean, I don't know if this is comparable, but the whole GME, GameStop, Robinhood craziness, where GameStop was costing these billionaires and the financial, it was like threatening the financial system to a certain extent. And then in order to stop that from happening, Robinhood, the stock app that everyone was using to buy GameStop, just pulled the plug on it. It was like, you can't buy this anymore.
Yep.
And so I feel like if crypto was ever truly a legitimate threat to the financial system, they could pull the plug somehow. I mean, I imagine there are ways around it. Like you said,
true, but that's
70%
only when
of it
you
is
rub up
already-
against banks in the real world. So like if my landlord accepted rocks that I dug up in my backyard as rent payment, and the store down the street did too, and my job maybe paid me in rocks that they dug up on their property, we would not need banks. In fact, banks would be destroyed, and it would change the world. And that is that is conceivably what you could do with the concept of cryptocurrency.
Not a bear in sight. The Bear Patrol must be working like a charm.
That's specious reasoning, Dad.
Thank you, honey.
By your logic, I could claim that this rock keeps tigers away.
Oh, how does it work?
It doesn't work.
Uh-huh.
It's just a stupid rock.
Uh-huh.
But I don't see any tigers around here, do you?
Lisa, I want to buy your rock.
And as my brother and I are sort of, to go back to the meme coin thing, we're just sitting there watching these dumb motherfuckers like scam each other, get scammed. And the whole community is it's like more toxic than the fake, like, liberal wellness community. They're like, we're all in this together. We're going to do this, guys. If you just believe. It's like this weird, fake, toxic positivity with all these guys that are just like snakes in the grass trying to fuck you over, But I think that's kind of why it is the Wild West, why the mainstream news isn't talking about this, $1 billion a day practically scam casino, the Solana meme coin market, is because really that's what the system wants. All these like dumb Zoomers scamming and ripping each other off. They don't want a stable new system to emerge, which could actually, basically destroy the financialization of the world, the corrupt world that we live in now. I mean, I honestly do believe that, but it'll never happen because it's all just like, every man for themselves. When a coin gets stable, or excuse me, gets unstable, it's just a race for the exits, and all these like, Bored Ape NFT profile pic dorks are, like, yeah, we can do this. We're in this together. Never mind. I gotta pull my $800 out before it goes to zero. I mean, I'm out of my element. I should have talked to my brother a little bit more before this. I mean, I've hopped in some crypto spaces, just the biggest douchebags on earth. And, I'm like, hey, here's what we're doing. We don't, we're not scamming people. We don't control supply. We don't give a shit what happens. We believe in the power of memes, but one partner is into money. I'm into memes. Don't ask me any questions. Like, fuck you, basically. And it kind of goes over pretty well because it's just something different in that space. But, I honestly don't know what'll happen. I've invested a bunch of my own money because I don't want any friends or followers or just random strangers on the internet to get scammed. So if it doesn't work, rest assured I will lose a bit of money.
And what's your meme coin called again?
It's called Cuck Chair. Everyone should be familiar with the Cuck Chair memes. I mean, Elon tweeted about it right after we launched it, and with no marketing at all, we got a couple sales. Because people were just searching Cuck Chair. So
you're in bed with Elon?
No, we're not, and it sucks to even know that guy exists. I mean, Twitter is
Talk
so
about someone who's like, so you should do the opposite of whatever Elon says. I think.
Oh, definitely.
And,
yeah.
And we'll get into some of Elon stuff as well. I do think that the meme coin again seems a little bit more cynical and crazy than crypto and even then NFTs, which, yeah, I mean, like,
well, a lot of the
NFT
NFT guys pivoted to meme coins. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're also pivoting. These are the same guys, and we'll get into this too. They're the same guys who are pivoting into AI. The people who are trying to sell you on artificial intelligence being the next fucking thing. So we'll talk about that in a second.
Well, the AI works great with the meme coin shit. I mean, half the stuff that these guys will kind of be like, I guess the selling point, you were asking before what you're buying. You know, I guess you're buying the content, you're buying the community, or you're buying into a community like you were with NFTs. And these guys will like go off about their art departments and their development team or whatever. And it's just like, this is all just AI. This is just a hyper realistic AI Pepe the Frog holding a machine gun. This is not art, It's,
yeah.
The few friends I've made in the space, deep down, I'm still like a snob. I'm an art snob. So the whole space is just grotesque, and it's offensive to anyone with good taste in anything.
Well, and anybody who I mean, the pleasure I got from the people who spent hundreds, if not millions of dollars on those Bored Apes, those dog shit cartoons that would just swap out like an eye patch for one of those like propeller beanie caps.
Yeah.
The fact that people were like, no, this has value.
This is the new world currency. No, this is the new.
It's like, there's no way
you're gonna buy a house.
Ever convince me?
You're gonna buy a house with this ape, this depressed looking ape JPEG.
Yeah.
No, man. You know what's sad though, or maybe it'll make you happy. It's just like anything else. The little guys that the Zoomers, the whatever. That jumped in last. I mean, they're all kind of like Ponzi schemes, right? They got fucked, and the guys that launched these projects, the insiders, the callers, the scammers, they all did fine. It's just another way. To fuck the little guy.
Yeah, that's a very bad thing, and I don't. I remember talking to some. I interviewed some billionaire financial guy for a crypto story I did couple years ago before Bitcoin hit that first big crash, like when it was hovering around like 69,000 or whatever. And Sarasota, my hometown, became like this hub of Bitcoin people, and I was interviewing them.
Yeah.
And it was all fucking so stupid. And it was very fun. I wrote it in such a way where, like, if you read in between the lines, like, I was making fun of them. I was like, this is dumb, but they just loved the publicity so much that they didn't. It made me question their reading comprehension abilities, or just like they're that fucking delusional. It's just like, look, I'm being talked about in a print magazine. Woo. And I interviewed this one billionaire financial guy who's like got to be close to 80 or something, and he was like, Bitcoin's fucking stupid, don't touch it. And he was right. But he had this callousness, and I said, I understand why people want to get into this stuff, because the hoop you have to jump through to elevate your class status, to make it financially, is that circle is so fucking small now. It like people barely, you can't fit in it anymore, really. And so when people provide this opportunity, like fucking another different carny game to jump through. And the hole looks big, but it's really not. It's because it's a carny game.
Yeah.
And these people who just want a better life take this big risk because it's been sold to them by the media, by fucking Elon Musk, that this is get in before it's too late. And they fucking just bonk the shit out of their heads and go broke. No, I don't take any pleasure in that. And I actually worry about Zoomers, and like, I think that at least some people got into crypto and NFTs in good faith, maybe. I mean, it was to make money, but it's also just like, oh, like we can disrupt the system. Oh, we can support content creators. This meme coin stuff is like such a much more naked scam, it seems, that it requires a greater kind of cynicism. And there was a story that came out recently by this writer Ezra Marcus in New York Mag, and it's called The Package King of Miami, and it's about this Zoomer with like a fucking Zoomer perm named Matthew Bergwall, who was this gifted coder who ended up just like scamming people out of millions of dollars. And was
Is this
like
one of the dropship Sigma hustler guys?
One of those types, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was just like scam. It was like the Amazon scam where you like return stuff. I mean, it was just like finding ways of scaling scamming. And he was doing it so brazenly. And you know, it was, and all the other Zoomers who were getting in on it weren't kidding themselves. So like, this is a scam, but I'm going to scam the scammer before the scammer scams me. So it's like this deeply cynical, I'm going to get mine thing. Like maybe, you know, millennials, we were naive in our delusions that this was somehow good and not already fixed from the get-go. Zoomers are fucking nihilists. Like they see the world for what it really is, but don't seem interested in changing it, just in taking advantage of it.
Yeah. I mean, look, I hope you don't think that's what we're doing, because it's not what we're doing. Someone could come in and drop like $20,000 on our thing. It would spur more buying, and then sell it all and destroy the dumb meme coin that we've made. And you know what I mean? Like, we don't control it at all. That's the difference with ours. We have just created a commodity that people can trade.
You've been a lot more honest. I mean, I trust you as a person. Also, it seems just you're like kind of like experimenting more than anything. Like you're just playing around with it.
Well, we also have our supply. You know, that we do have some supply, because you have to keep some of it. And I've been, you know, taking screenshots of my wallet. Like, if for some reason this thing keeps going up, you know, I mean, at 1 minute, you know, when it launched, I had my 1 million cuck shares were worth $40. Then it was worth 2,000. Then a couple weeks ago, it was worth 6,000. I mean, that is when a lot of these assholes will just jump. You know, they're like, I'm gonna sell in the middle of the night, take my $6,000, and that's that, and fuck all these people. You know, like, I'm taking the screenshots because if this goes to $1 and then I have $1 million, I mean, I will never sell. That is my promise. Is that, and then the four of us, you know, we're not going to sell any of it. If it goes to, you know, if I can look at my phone and have $5 million worth of fake money, you know, I'd rather have. I mean, it's like an art project. It's an experiment. Like there's no one good in this space. We're not doing it for money. There are ways that we could probably pull liquidity and make some money in a year if it's wildly successful. But the people that, you know, someone that bought this, like the people that follow my meme account, there's a handful of them in there that have bought this stuff, you know, when it started for a couple $100, and even now they probably have like a couple $1,000s in fake money. They could jump out now, take their fake money, and leave, you know. But there's people that sort of like believe in it. I guess the early quote investors investing in a goddamn cuck chair meme coin. But you know what I mean? Like, those people will make far more money than I will. I
just love the idea of like what the apocryphal rags to riches story that these people could potentially tell their grandkids. It's like, I, you know, invent like I started instead of like our golden generation or our grandparents being like, yeah, you know, I worked my way up. I started a roofing business, and then we got from you know 4 employees to an entire like region, blah blah blah. No, now the news stories are going to be, I bought like 1,000 shares of cuck.
How did Grandpa make all the money? Like, such, you know, I'm so grateful. All this privilege, you know. Acknowledge my privilege. Well, your grandfather bought cuck chair. He bought 1 million cuck chair for $200. and that's why we own all of Rhode Island now.
Yeah. I mean, that's as honest to me as being some sort of like rubber baron, I guess. I don't fucking know. I mean,
do you know about, like, you know, the shit that, I mean, do you know about options trading and the stuff? I mean, the stuff that like goes on Wall Street. You know, it's a really giant casino. It's no different. And those guys have this attitude like, oh, this is bullshit. This is just gambling. Or this is just
insider trading.
They're actually just mad. They're just mad that these dummies are not throwing their money into Wall Street. They found an easier, more like generational way to. I mean, honestly, I'd rather buy. What's some of the stuff I bought? Riz coin. I'd rather buy Riz. I own a percentage of the concept of Riz. You know what I mean? The Gen Z concept of Riz. I own,
which is way better than owning any stock in Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, right? I mean, exactly. Would you rather buy? That's exactly what I was gonna say. Would you rather buy Riz or would you rather buy Lockheed Martin? Man, I've lost money on Riz. I'd rather lose money on Riz than fucking make money off of Raytheon's got a new name. I don't even know if they're publicly traded.
Gaytheon now something.
Yeah, Exxon. All these things. Like, I'm sorry, but buying Giat and Wojak is more fun. Shout out to my friends at Wife Jack also.
And more morally righteous. That's better. It's better.
The world is just descending. It's idiocracy, it's absurdity, it's Terry Gilliam's Brazil. I at a certain point you just have to lean into it, And I've already spent years making memes. This just seems like the next logical thing,
Yeah, it is getting disappointingly stupider, and even when you have what appears to be some kind of victory, there's something more sinister behind it, and I want to talk about that Rafah AI, All Eyes on Rafah AI pic that went viral recently.
Yeah,
because that I think is there's some overlap there with I think the stupidity of everything, and I don't know. Okay, so I got chewed out for my criticism of that All Eyes on Rafah AI pic that went viral on Instagram recently. I'm sure everyone's seen it by this point. I think it's got something like 50 million shares, so it's one of the most widely shared images this year on the internet.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first saw people doing that, I was kind of like, all right, whatever. I guess that that's good that people are that this is being seen by people. But the closer I looked at it, the more I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this image being shared? And if you haven't seen it, it's a very obviously artificially generated, and I don't even want to fucking call it AI because it's not fucking artificial intelligence. If people don't know this yet, there's no such thing as artificial intelligence. That is a marketing gimmick. And we just use it interchangeably to mean this umbrella term for all things, basically like language models. It's just linear algebra. That's what you're fucking playing with. And it's not intelligence. It's not artificial intelligence. So I guess we just have to use that as a shorthand for now. But yeah, this image was what appeared to be a series of tents, but it was unclear. It looked like in the tens of thousands, and the tents were shaped to spell "All Eyes on Rafah," and which is where half of Gaza is stuck right now being bombed by Israel, and the background is a snowy mountain. Which is that's not that's not right. And also, it was so obviously a computer generated image and not and so it looked like Burning Man to me. So I made that Burning Man meme joke about it. And people got pissed. People got pissed that I would criticize such an image. What were your instincts about it? What did you think when you first saw that image?
Well, I saw it on Instagram the night before, and I'm cycling through stories, and I would click 10 stories in a row, and it would all be that image. This is on my personal, not on my meme. My meme account's just all psychotic, But my personal Instagram, friends and family members, people I knew and whatnot, were all sharing it. So what were my first instincts? I don't know. I was like, this is weird NPC behavior. I hate AI images like this. I think you could do, it's just corny. It's just a corny image.
It looks like shit.
You'd get you wouldn't get a good grade in graphic design school for that one, I mean, it just looks like a movie. It looks like a movie poster, like a shitty Hollywood movie that you're not going to see. And then, the snowy mountain makes no sense. Well, I don't know. I've never been to that part of the world. Do they have snowy mountains there, high up?
No,
I don't think so. I don't. Hey, I don't want to assume anything these days. It's like weird NPC behavior, and I hate digital slacktivism, digital activism, and I've gotten into trouble on my account before making fun of, because at the end of the day, like, my account's just a critique on social media in the contemporary world, that's like the larger, like, overarching critique.
So it's your job to see something like this and be critical of it. I mean, that's what you do.
Yeah. I mean, I just have a natural aversion to this type of performative, because you're not going to really change your life. You're going to go about your day. You're going to keep using. I'm like weird. I don't have an Amazon account. I don't use banks. I'm very anti-consumerist. I don't buy much of anything new. I'm very conscious about where what I buy comes from, who I give my money to. I mean, that's like the only way to really vote now. That's a cliche, but that's how you vote, is how you spend your money, And I hate the digital slacktivism. So especially where I live, it's like a lot of kind of affluent consumers, the typical sort of like coastal elite cliche, the liberal, whatever you want to call them, and they can go about their life. Half of them work at ad agencies that are making the world worse, driving brand new $50,000 like the sensitive guy car, the $50,000 Subaru. You get a new one every 4 years, which, I mean, like, environmental this, that, like, buying new stuff, whatever their marketing campaigns look like, it's not good for planet Earth, So you're buying a new Subaru every 4 years to keep up with the Joneses, or there's a new, you're trying to get outdoors more because you work too hard. Like, you're still just
email job.
Your email job. Yeah, you're just another consumer. You're a consumer and you're a hypocrite. And sharing this doesn't do a fucking thing. It's like, doesn't do anything. It makes you feel good. Your friends and neighbors know that your heart's in the right place and that you want the world to just be a little less mean. And so I saw it. I was like, man, this sucks. I have to make fun of this, but I'm gonna get so much shit, because I get so much shit anyway on my account for, I don't post enough pictures of dead children. I don't hit people over the head with stuff. I do it my own way, and I think that there's a bigger message that's inferred. But,
well, people are intellectually and morally lazy like that. My goal is to make confusing images that stop you from scrolling for a second, to be like, well, what is that? Like, what are you trying to say? And that's when I want, like, you to engage with, like, what you're really looking at, instead of just like total passive consumption. Like,
smart. I try to do the same thing. I try to create. I mean, I feel confused. I don't look at the world and I have this solution. Here's what we should do, Isaac. Here's what we should do, Instagram. I have no idea. But I don't maybe kind of operate with the self-righteous certainty of some people,
Sure.
And I want to just crack that a little bit.
Which is why I'm also, like, happy to moderate my visceral repulsion to that image, because that, like, instinctively I saw that and I was like, this is bad. This is stupid. I don't like this.
Yeah.
But I don't want to make people feel bad for genuinely sharing it, thinking that it was a good thing.
Well, here's the irony of it. I think it might have actually been quite effective. Talk about 5D chess. I mean, an image like that, the normies are going to share it. Then the shit posters like me are going to make fun of it, and that keeps the conversation going. So,
yeah.
that's what I had to realize like later on, and as I'm sifting through all these like furious, I mean, I got a ton of however many hate messages you got, like just multiply that.
Oh, I'm sure you got it way worse.
Yeah, I mean, I followed you for 2 years, and I'm done following you, and all my friends are unfollowing you, and that's fine. You have to take one you got to take it on the chin sometimes, but maybe it worked because you and I are talking about it now. The people that didn't like the image were talking about it on all of our accounts. So and
I mean, that's what we want. And what we want are people to, if it means getting a few unfollows and angry messages, as long as people are like thinking about it more, what it means to share this thing, what the image is, where it actually came from. So 404 Media, which I would recommend everybody check out. It's been a great resource for me, and they're doing real journalism, which is fucking endangered. Traced this image back to a like Malaysian artificial intelligence Facebook enthusiast group. So it's like these thousands of Malaysians who have been making these images and like bouncing ideas off of each other. And so this image in particular is from February, so it's quite old. And it initially had a AI generated watermark on it, and then the person who has been given credit for this image, an Instagram user called ShawV4012, just wiped the watermark from it, stretched it out, and actually added the snowy mountains to it. To make it more vertical and Instagram friendly. And then it just went viral, this past week. So the image has been around for almost 4 months, but now just managed to, go everywhere. And so it's interesting because, and so people criticize me for my criticism, saying that, well, the reason why this is a good thing and why you shouldn't be disgusted by this AI this computer generated image is because it evaded the meta censorship. And I call bullshit on that. There's really no, we're in that group chat and everybody's trying to figure out how meta censorship algos actually work.
Yeah.
And it's very confusing and it's very unclear how they work or to what degree they actually work at all.
Well, whoever said that is wrong because the word Rafah is right there.
Exactly.
So you can screen, you know how the censors work. If you can, and I use this when I edit out naughty words, if you have the image on your phone, if you type in the word fuck and it pulls up every photo with the word fuck in it.
Yes.
Then
it can recognize some abstracted written fucks. So yes. So
you can field test this on your phone. You can screenshot the image, type in Rafah, and then if your iPhone, if your photo, whatever the hell the app's called, iPhone Photos, if it pulls up this image, then yes, it was not right.
It did not evade the censors.
Evading the censors. Yeah, that's silly.
My theory is that because the image is anodyne, because the image is completely inoffensive and shows a very orderly, not burning Rafah, that it is more digestible, that people don't feel uncomfortable sharing such an image. And I think that's really what it comes down to. And that's what everyone said is like, well, my grandma shared it and she wouldn't share like pictures of, dead children. I have personally never shared pictures of dead kids. I don't necessarily think that you can be effective without showing violence. And what I did to show people this was on my page, I posted a quote from a child. And the quote says, "Can we enter heaven with one leg?" And the description is the little girl in Jabalia who lost her leg in an Israeli strike on her house before entering an eternal sleep due to the destruction of all hospitals in Gaza asked. And to me, that's like, I just rereading it gives me shivers. It's like so horrifying. Like that's a question a fucking kid would ask. And so you don't need to show the image to be evocative. But the fact is that people don't want to share that stuff. And just because you now feel comfortable all of a sudden after fucking 7 months of this. Do not feel good about yourself for sharing this. You should feel horrible for sharing this, and for it taking this fucking long, and it's still going on. It's like, yeah, All Eyes on Rafah. Are you watching right now what's happening? Are you watching? They rolled up tanks in it. They fucking bombed supposed Hamas operatives. And even if it's true, but you should never believe a fucking word the Israeli government tells you. They have been proven liars, so you should never believe what they say. But they said they hit some munitions depot or whatever, even though that's not even proven, in that Rafah camp, and that's what caused the fires, and that's what caused the death of these children. Not the missiles we fucking launched at them. No, it's their fault somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm going to be misquoting Adolf Reed Jr. here, but he said, and I sent you this, he wrote this Harper's article a few years back talking about the failures of liberals. And he said that liberals don't have politics anymore. They just want to bear witness to suffering. And so that's what's pathetic about this All Eyes on Rafah image to me is that you're not even bearing witness to the suffering. You're not even looking at it. Like the least you, so there's some liberals have gotten somehow fucking worse about these things. They won't even look.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's well known that I'm the Adam Curtis fan.
But then something strange happened.
There's a Adam Curtis. I mean, he's like a leftist, I think, or he used to be. I don't know what he is really. That's why I like his documentaries, because they don't have an agenda. But he basically is like, it's kind of worse than just bear witness. It's just like they just want to keep the system stable. His quote, you don't want to upset things. You don't want it to go, like Hillary doesn't want to actually like reduce carbon emissions to where they like might, save the world or whatever. We just got to keep them lower than Trump's.
Exactly.
We can't do anything. You can't have real health insurance because that would upset the markets and that would upset the health industry temporarily, and stocks would fall and shit like that. I mean, we could have health insurance in this country. It would just destabilize markets. So that's why you don't get it. It's not because we can't afford it, or it's not even because we don't deserve it. It's just a matter of, I guess maybe that'd be the right wing take on it. Like, you don't deserve it. You got to work for it. Well, the Democrats are basically like, without saying this out loud, but that's why you don't get it, is because it would just destabilize things, and like, who knows what the stock market would do. So that's like the real order of the day, is just keeping the world stable. There's nothing. Yeah. There's nothing beyond that.
And that's the logic of neoliberalism, and this is why forgive all my followers and listeners who majored in political science, but that's the biggest fucking bullshit discipline I've ever read. Where the logic that they provide you, it's just like, no, this is why we have to blow up kids. This is why we have to.
Yeah.
And so it,
this is what's great about the internet, though, because I didn't finish school. I barely finished school. I couldn't even tell you the last book I read. I mean, I identify as an idiot. That's what I identify as. But an idiot with maybe like a furtive mind and a bit of a work ethic. And what the internet has done is it's sort of elevated dumber voices like mine, which is actually great, which is democratic. And it's also sort of put the academic voices kind of closer to the people that live on the ground level, and I think they have lost credibility. They have lost, the veneer that like the political science majors and the experts and whatnot, that they actually know more than you. I think the internet has showed that they don't. It's sort of like leveled the playing field.
Well, I think that's one way of looking at it. I also interpret it as the corporatization of academia. I mean, these higher form, basically ever since you had to pay a lot of money and get loans to get an education, they've acted as banks. They're hedge funds, and their concern is not academia or progressing knowledge. It's like you said, it's about money.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They just want it is a system of acquiring capital, and they don't give a shit what you learn, so long as that money printing machine keeps functioning. So yeah, I mean, like the internet, listen, I love the internet, don't get me wrong. But I think
Same.
I think that it's always like it's a convergence of things, and to bring it back to the image, why this image went viral, why I think Meta allowed this image to go viral, is because I think people are reading the tea leaves in the conflict and realizing, oh, this is not working out like we thought it would.
Yeah.
Israel is losing this war, and it's become quite clear that they are a albatross around the neck of the United States. The rest of the world is piece by piece pulling out. Hamas is probably stronger than it was when the war started, because not only has it proven to be an effective military fighting organization, but a very powerful propaganda organization as well. Like their Al-Qassam Brigade videos kind of fucking rock.
Haven't seen those. Yeah.
Israel's propaganda videos are of actual war crimes, of like men sniffing like the panties of fucking teenagers and just doing and saying the most horrific Nazi shit you can imagine. So Hamas is looking a lot better in that regard as well. And when you, look at who Israel has to employ to get their message across, like actual pedophiles, like criminal, like Alan fucking Dershowitz. They're still putting him out there to defend Israel. Like that's crazy. So they're losing, and I think that the reason this image was allowed to go viral was, one, yes, because it is inoffensive. It does not show death. It doesn't do anything either. It didn't raise. I mean, it did end up raising some money for some organizations, and it did start this conversation. I will give it that much credit. But I think that, and I've shown this to the group chat, there are tons of fucking Nazi accounts on Instagram that do not get flagged, even though like they'll straight up say the N-word. They'll straight up have swastikas and just like advocate for the death of people, and they don't care. And that my theory is because to kind of reimagine that Michael Jordan fake quote about how all Republicans buy sneakers too.
Yeah.
Well, Nazis need content as well. And if they don't get it there, they'll find some other place to get it. So I think Meta wants them there. That's why they have it. And so my feeling is that Meta allowed this All Eyes on Rafah image to go viral because, yes, again, inoffensive. And number two, it doesn't fucking do anything. It doesn't actually like challenge status quo. And number three, I do think that people are going to want to start reimagining the history and how they actually felt about this conflict in Israel. You will see lots of Democrats pretend like they did in Vietnam that they were against this the whole time, when in fact they were not.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or the Iraq War, all of it.
The other thing that I think is concerning about this image, and 404 Media had another thing about this, was that because of the success of this AI image, and because it did raise a ton of money and went mega viral, copycats replaced it or tried to surf on or parasitically suck the success out of this as well. And so when you try to actually look up Rafah, like hashtags or whatever, it's all AI images now. It's not, you can't even find actual images of Rafah on social media.
Oh, interesting.
It has been replaced by these generative language models that are just getting using that feedback loop to see what people click and what's successful and what's trending. So in a way, it's effectively
you won't be able to
erased.
see any. Yeah, you won't be able to see any images of Rafah.
Your eyes will never be on Rafah.
You'll just see the sanitized AI Burning Man.
You will see, like I said, like Shrimp Jesus saving.
We do need to get to Shrimp
children.
Jesus. I have a lot of thoughts on Shrimp Jesus.
All right, so let's get to Shrimp Jesus because
really quick, I just want to say one more thing about All Eyes on Rafah. As a student of design and I wouldn't call myself an artist, but a fan of art and someone that appreciates art. I just think that there is a better poster, viral image that a human being could have made. All Eyes on Rafah. I just go back to freshman year of design school. You're like, okay, that's great. You got this weird image that doesn't make any sense. There's mountains. There's a bunch of tents. Let's do 50 more iterations of this, because your goal is to spread the word about something terrible that's happening. So, do you know what I mean? Like you could have made a powerful, like iconic Saul Bass style
Guernica
poster.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Guernica. That's a great example. Guernica. Instead, you've created this. Well, we haven't created anything. Humans haven't done anything. The language models have created this like sanitized and quite stupid looking image that will go viral for a day, but doesn't really say anything about like life on Earth the way something like
the
way something like Guernica does.
It is devoid of humanity.
It is devoid of humanity. Yep, correct. That is,
and that's why I think we should ask the people who are listening to this is just be more discerning. Take a little bit more time with the things that you look at and be critical. Like, be like, I don't actually like this. I know I'm being like compelled to share it for like, social moral reasons or whatever, but I'm going to like do this one instead, or don't participate at all and just give them money. Like, give UNRWA money, give the Children's Foundation money. You don't have to participate in this.
I mean, what you just said is interesting. What about a viral image that has some sort of like, here's how you can help component?
Yes,
this is really weird. It's in the message, All Eyes on Rafah, and then or maybe there was like a link that you could click and donate money to, but
no, not in the template.
Incorporated into the image, it is really showing you that you are just like a passive observer of the world, of the atrocities of the world, of the unfairness, the corruption, the whatever of the world. Like, just sit and look at it, glazed over.
And if people
nothing you can do about it, just look at it. There's nothing you can. There's nothing you can do.
Just look at it. It's the fucking trolley thing. All you can do is watch.
Yeah.
And
did you post your trolley meme? That was good.
No, we'll do that for this episode, to promote this episode tomorrow.
Okay.
But oh fuck, what was I gonna say? People will ask you, well, what should we do? What Isaac? What would you have me do? People are asking, who should I vote for? I'm just like, local, vote local.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that this is. I'm just gonna apropos of nothing. Did you see that in Mexico City they burned down the Israeli embassy?
No, I didn't see that.
Apropos of nothing we're talking about, protesters burned the Israeli embassy in Mexico City. Now, take from that what you will, what I just said. Apropos of nothing. All right, let's get to Shrimp Jesus, because this has a lot to do with these. Again, stop fucking calling. I have the habit of calling it AI when it is in fact not AI. It is a language model. Shrimp Jesus has taken over Facebook, and for those of you who are not on Facebook, which I imagine is most people who listen to this show, because Facebook is for.
I can tell you why I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook because I like Facebook. Well, I don't like it, but I like to buy and I still sell furniture and old stuff, and I'm on there for Facebook Marketplace, and that is it.
Oh, Facebook Marketplace is better than Craigslist. I'll say that.
Well, it is and it isn't. They've also got the algorithms, so that you're not going to see what you maybe want to see. And then by the time it shows it to you, it's already shown it to a bunch of other people that are interested in it too. Yeah, so I have a lot of thoughts on Facebook Marketplace, but
you're buying different things than I am. I bought my ping pong table with my buddy Alex, and shout out to Alex, and we are total ping pong fiends now, and it was the best $600 we've ever spent. So I'm grateful for that much.
Herman Trivia, I'm really good at ping pong.
Oh, dude, you gotta come hang out then.
Come to Portland and I'll fuck you guys up.
All right, it's a date.
So
anyway, Shrimp Jesus. What's happened on Facebook is this takeover of these feeds of generated images, and what they say they're calling the phenomenon Shrimp Jesus because the algorithm has found that the most successful images are some sort of combination of Jesus, animals, and airplanes. And now it's just, and for whatever reason, it's just Shrimp Jesus. Like there are tons of images of these rather grotesque, horrifying, obviously computer generated images of Jesus in some shrimp form or another. And what's happened is that there are so many bots who are making this content, and so many bots that are sharing and liking and commenting on this content, that it's created this fucking, this feedback loop of just fake dead internet. And so people, maybe some boomers are falling for this stuff and thinking that it's real. There have been some amazing images out there though.
But are any real accounts even interacting with it? It's just other bot accounts interacting with bot generated.
One guy I saw was like doing some anecdotal investigating of it by like clicking people who were commenting, and found that there appeared to be some real people who were commenting on it. But then he would look even more closely at these people who appeared to be real and found that they were perhaps dead, or that their accounts were clearly stolen. And so these formerly real accounts are either dead people whose accounts have been stolen, or alive or living people who have lost their accounts to some sort of scam or other. So it does seem like it's nobody interacting with this stuff. And this is part of that whole dead internet theory, that the vast majority of internet interactions are not human. They are bots talking to each other.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let's just say that sentence again. Dead Facebook users whose accounts have been hijacked by scammers or just maybe other bots, they are interacting with their savior, AI-generated Shrimp Jesus. Is that a vision for the future or what?
That is the present, baby. That is the present.
I want to say about Shrimp Jesus. Okay, so you told me about it. I was not aware of Shrimp Jesus. People think I'm this oracle of the internet, but there's a lot I don't know. And that is one of the most grotesque things I've ever seen. I haven't had like a visceral reaction to something I've seen on my phone like that in quite a while. We're talking about like car crash videos and the occasional genocide. The Shrimp Jesus is up there. I cannot look at those.
They're that grotesque to you.
They make me absolutely sick. And I've showed them to a couple other people, and they're like, those are weird. They're bad. Yeah. But I'm like, no, I really want to throw up when I look at those. And I wonder if anyone else feels that way. I didn't grow up with religion or anything like that. If anything, those make me want to go read the Bible. Because this is, whatever you think of religion or, Jesus is a powerful like a concept image to millions of people. Like I said, I didn't grow up with it, but just to see this religious icon that we all are familiar with just being desecrated by AI and slammed together with these fucked up shrimp, it's almost like they've been able to achieve this like desecration of Jesus that like punk bands like Christian Death and like teenage like wannabe Satanists like go down the list of people that have like tried to take Jesus down a notch. The AI Shrimp Jesus is far more offensive than anything that some like black metal band came up with.
If that bothers you so much, I wouldn't read the Bible. I would read the Quran. Where they explicitly say you cannot make images of the Prophet Muhammad. In fact, the Quran says crazier stuff. You're not allowed to draw pictures of people or animals, period.
Oh, I do know this,
So, I mean, honestly, I thought China was going to save us. Now I'm kind of like, maybe Islam is the way. How easy is it for a goofy white boy to convert to Islam? I'm gonna Google that. I'm gonna ask Google's AI.
I think it's pretty easy. There's a lot of goofy white boys. Now that Andrew Tate is Muslim, I think there's a lot of goofy white boys converting to Islam.
Yeah. They're gonna make it not cool though. But yeah, man, it is. I see people who evangelize this stuff. To me, I feel vindicated. I've always been suspicious of quote unquote artificial intelligence and these techno revolutions. The people who are selling meme coins are the same people who are selling us that AI is about to be. There's gonna be general AI soon. Did you hear that from Sam Altman and Elon Musk? That soon we're gonna have like these things that think for themselves. And of course, when you look more closely at them, they're all lying. They're just constantly lying about everything.
Yeah.
This is the real, the shrimp Jesus stuff is it. That is what it is. That is the dead end of this technology. I think is that it can only create horrors. And I love when they try to sell this to you too. Like I have a good friend, Jack, who's into like language models, and he would probably listen to this show and say I'm fucking stupid, don't know what I'm talking about. But he showed me this thing that his company's working on, which was a language model, a really good one, by the way. Like it did a very good job, but you could play Dungeons and Dragons with this language model. And so you don't need friends anymore. And so I'm kind of looking at it and like, I'm not into D&D in the first place, so it didn't really appeal to me like that. But also it was kind of like, wouldn't you just rather hang out with your friends? Like, isn't this a bad thing? Like, it's already sad enough to play D&D if you're trying to get pussy or something. But like,
I don't think anyone
D&D
played
by yourself.
I gotta interject. Nobody played D&D to get pussy. Come on.
Right. Well, yes.
Yeah. You're not getting any, so you get into D&D. To be clear.
You can get that elvish pussy though.
As an old school D&D metalhead, I just have to correct you there.
But isn't the point of like D&D like be creative and have fun and act goofy with your friends? And so that's the whole point of this like savior technology. It doesn't make sense, in the long run, if everything is done by computers, what is there for us to? Isn't that bad? Don't we want to do stuff? Doesn't that strip us of humanity and purpose entirely? So when they're promoting these things, which again I think are total bullshit and don't work, even if they did work, why wouldn't you sabotage it yourself? When I watched Oppenheimer, the movie, and I thought about Robert Oppenheimer himself, and I thought if I was Robert Oppenheimer and I was presented this situation where it's like, we need you to create a nuclear weapon, like a weapon of mass destruction. And I remember there's that one scene in the movie where he's like there is a non-0% chance that this could destroy the world if we do it. And he's like, well, let's keep doing it anyway. Like the moral thing to do would be to sabotage it.
Yeah.
You should never let this technology exist in the first place. And I feel that way about this quote unquote artificial intelligence. If that was true, if it was even possible, you should sabotage it. But I don't think we really have to worry about it because it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah,
the people who are promoting it are lying to us that it's not going to happen.
Yeah, the only thing I could see is somehow these get into other systems which could cause some catastrophe, But I don't think that like on its own it can do anything. You know what I mean? It's a combination of like a human misapplying some sort of AI technology in some way. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Well, it's always going to be human error,
And it does make the surveillance state more efficient. I mean, that we should be terrified of is that, I mean, these language models are really good at facial recognition technology.
Yeah.
And that's bad. That's not a good thing. So the technology that it is actually providing, and this is always the case with all the nonsense that like everybody eventually so the same way that all images turn into shrimp Jesus, all companies eventually turn into weapons manufacturers. I learned this recently that ball mason jars?
Yeah. I've gone down this rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yeah, that they make fucking weapons. they're military contractors. They went from mason jars to fucking missiles.
Yeah.
So eventually everything turns into military contracts the same way everything turns into shrimp Jesus. And that's just the logic of capitalism. And it is completely illogical. It's the same logic that says blowing up children is just the way things. That's war. Kids die in war. Kids lose their limbs and ask if they're still going to go to heaven. That's war. Don't worry about it. Just keep your eyes on Rafah.
I mean, I do get a little cynical. I think that we haven't. The world has been a cruel place for thousands of years, and I think the cruelty, the way it manifests, is just going to mutate. I don't think there's any fixing the world ever.
I'm an optimist, and I think that there is.
Well, here's the thing. The optimism for me lies in it. I'm just going to do what I can to not participate in it. And it's, like a losing battle, it feels like. But at least you can go to your grave, and as you're on your way to heaven to meet Shrimp Jesus, who doesn't exist, you will at least be able to say to yourself that you weren't, actively trying to make it worse. That's how I look at it. I mean, I'm like on a Don Quixote like battle of futility every single day online. Twitter, Instagram, other places. Why am I doing it? I don't know. It just feels like I'm fighting against something. It's delusional, And I have moments where I'm like, this is delusional. I'm delusional, but I'm going to keep doing it because it fills my life with meaning temporarily.
وقالوا سيضنيك بحث دقيق فجهزت نفسي لبحث الدقيق ركبت البحار وخضت الصحارى وسرت النهار وقد جف ريقي ويممت شطر الجبال الرواسي وفي قمة قرب واد سحيق دعوت الإله الذي لا إله سواه بأن أهتدي للطريق دعوت الإله الذي لا إله سواه بأن أهتدي للطريق أهتدي للطريق تفكرت يوما بمعنى الصديق وأرسلت طرفي بفكر عميق ترى من سيرسو عليه اختياري وماذا سيغدو كظل رفيقي فإذ بي على بشيخ وقور حكيم رفيقي فإذ بي على حين ياس وصمت بشيخ وقور حكيم رفيقي بدت في محياه آثار دهر وعيناه أوحت بماض عريق فبادرته سائلا كيف أختار من بين كل الأنام صديقي لقد طال صبري وما زال بحري عميقا وهذا نداء الغريق كأني ليلي أسير فهل فقال استمع إنه من يؤدي حقوق التاخي كعقد وثيق، ومن حين تفضي إليه بهم وغم وحزن وكرب وضيق تجد منه جودا بصدر رحيب ورأي رشيد ونصح رقيق. وما النحل إلا صديق الأقاحي، فهل نال غير ارتشاف الرحيق. كما الليل إذ صاحب النجم دهرا، فهل كان يحلو بغير البريق. فصاحب للخير والعقل والصدق والنصح تلقى الصديق الحقيقي. فصاحب للخير والعقل والصدق والنصح تلقى الصديق الحقيقي.